after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Friends of Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge, of course, Don Weld back with us as well, and Randy Young. He brought Randy with him this morning to keep him honest, I think. That's your job?
That's the job today.
Keep Don out of trouble?
That's exactly right.
Well, you have a Herculean task, sir. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing today?
Doing good. How you doing, Mike?
Doing great. And, of course, we set up, we're Bitter Lake, Friends of Bitter Lake. We're going to be joining us each month now here on the radio show. Mm-hmm. And that's because we want you to come back out to Bitter Lake. Bitter Lake is, now that we're out of the COVID world, things are opening back up, and the events that we all know and love that are kind of synonymous with Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge are back on. And so we want to get people to come on out and see the beauty that is the Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a pun, but not a pun. It literally is an oasis in your backyard.
It is.
It's literally just like the one you used to see in cartoons with Bugs Bunny's going through the desert and hits that clump of trees and water. There you go. It's right there. It's a beautiful. Of course, we joke about it. It's kind of, for us, it's a beautiful wildlife refuge. For many of our migratory animals, it's a pilot flying J, basically.
There you go.
Many of them.
That's exactly right.
There you go. That's the way. Good way to look at
it. That's kind of what it is. But we would love to get people to come and spend some time out here. We've got, of course, I know it's the other side of summer with the Dragonfly Festival, but now's the time to start putting those on your calendars. Before you know it, the tour dates and everything are going to be up there, and you're going to be able to start reserving your tour dates and all that.
August 1st.
Yeah, so that's coming up. That's just, we're a month or so away from all of that to happen here. So in the meantime, come and see what you missed the last couple of years out of Bitter Lake here. It's and I know during this time, you guys have done a couple of service projects that were probably stuff you wanted to do over time, but just life happened and you don't get resources or time or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then COVID kind of created some time and resources to do some of those things.
Right.
So.
Yep. Yeah. We got a lot of things worked on. The staff portion of the Bitter Lake has been out there working very hard. We've got a new bird blind that's opened now. We opened that up 2 months ago, I think it was.
And it's a hit.
It is, yeah. Everybody's liking that. And we got some new plants and watering done on the butterfly trail.
Great.
And I got my butterfly thing on today.
Nice. That's a pretty cool shirt.
Yeah, this is the worm part. On the back is the butterfly.
Okay. I was like, it's cool. A little gross, but cool.
Yeah. I got this worm crawling up my belly here,
That's good.
But no, it's pretty cool.
They're fun. So, yeah, and that's what we're doing. We're getting all that stuff ready to go.
Absolutely. And please, I just to clarify, because I want to do this every time just to make sure people don't forget, Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge is a wildlife refuge. It's there to preserve and to to support the habitat of this area, and to and the big fight out there is keeping what's native to New Mexico native in there, and keeping what's not native to New Mexico out of there.
More salt cedar.
No more.
That really is the big battle. But Bitter Lake is not the place for you to go camping and boating and swimming and all that. It is a wildlife preserve. Come out and enjoy nature. Come out and see the birds. Come see each season's a different experience out at Bitter Lake. Come experience the wildlife. Come experience even some of the human history that's out there. With if you go out to the visitor center, you can learn some about the Native American history of the buffalo hunting grounds that was all part of this area, and learning some of the things they found through archaeological digs and things like that out there, and just seeing. So it's not just natural history; it's human history in there, as well. And then of course,
CCC,
the CCC stuff. I mean, in and of itself, the facilities and things like that out there are as much of the fabric and history of Bitter Lake as is the plants and animals and the lake itself.
We have some buildings that were originally built back in the 30s by CCC. governmental.
This is during like the
work
New
program.
Deal era.
Yep.
The Roosevelt's when during the Depression, getting us back to
Yep.
they had the infrastructure side with roads and highways, and then they also had the building these kind of projects like these refuges
Yep.
and dams
That's
and
right.
things like that, and it was all part of these programs to do that. So it's history in and of itself through
Yeah.
there. It's great.
Love it.
But I do want to make that distinction. So if you're looking to go boat and back, you go to bottomless lakes. That's what that's for.
That's for recreational.
But when you want to come and see nature and get a chance to get your family to kind of take some walks through the trails and see what kind of vegetation and animal life call this part of the country home, and you're going to and you're going to be fascinated, because if you've never been out there, you're going to think, well, yeah, how could it be? I live here in Roswell. It's desert. It's, brown, and, I see what. And then you drive out to Bitter Lake, and it's a whole nother universe.
That's right.
It really is. You're going to go there and realize, are we still in southeast New Mexico? Because it's not going to feel that way.
Yeah.
It's going to feel way different.
You might want to think of Bitter Lake as kind of an open air zoo. Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. But we don't contain them.
Everything's in their natural.
We give that the space for nature to have its own deal, own thing out there.
So I'm kind of curious when the summer months are here. We talk dragonflies at the end of the summer, but what's kind of the hot action and stuff that's this time of year out at the refuge?
You're not going to see a whole lot unless you get there very early in the morning,
when
right
it's
after
before it gets
sunrise.
hot.
And the gates open at sunrise, so you can get in. Then you might see. We've still got fox and raccoons, and we've even seen some cats. Big. Well, we haven't seen a mountain lion, but we do have like
bobcats.
Bobcat types.
Okay. All right.
That sort of thing.
Not house cats, bobcats.
Yeah, well, we probably got some house cats out there too, accidentally.
Well, again, that's the fight is keeping things that aren't native to the area out of there. Mostly it's plant life, but sometimes it's animals too.
Right.
That's right. Unfortunately, people think that's a good dumping ground for unwanted pets, which don't do that, please.
Well,
They don't survive to begin with.
Yeah, well, and I always say this, and regardless of your of faith or not of faith, nature's a very, my opinion, God worked out the plan pretty good.
Yep.
Others, and so when you go and put a different variable in that well-oiled machine, you can cause quite a disturbance in that whole routine by putting a foreign substance, an animal that's not supposed to be there or a plant that's not supposed to be there. And it really can wreak havoc on that kind of stuff. And it's a dance. Bitter Lake Wildlife, it's a dance of nature. And like you said, because this time of year, it's June, July, guess what? It's 106 out every day. Animals don't hang out when it's 106 either. So they're going to be out at 6 in the morning or daybreak when they can go get their food or go get whatever they've got to do for the day. And then by the time the sun's up, they're hunkered down trying to stay cool.
Stay out of that heat. Yep, it's a battle for the animals.
Yeah.
So we got to take care of them.
So if you want to come out and see like the animals active, you're going to have to get up early, and the bird gets the worm on this one. And
That's right.
Come out and see it. Do they get a lot of activity around dusk too, or does it?
We do get some, but they're going to wait until after that sun goes down at night.
Your nocturnal animals start coming. Your owls, and I guess if there's any bats in the area, I'm not sure where there is or not.
There are. We used to have, and I'd like to. Hopefully, we can do that again. We used to have a bat box out there.
Okay.
A couple of them, in fact, and we would encourage the bats. They eat insects.
Oh yeah, they're great to have.
So since we do get a lot of biting flies at certain times during the year, it would be good to have the bats around to get those.
Maybe we can set up like a Inn of the Mountain Gods hotel type resort for bats.
There you go.
There at the refuge, and maybe some of the Carlsbad bats can be like, "Hey, you want to take a little jaunt up north?
Right.
Yeah,
come feed on plenty of our fruit thing. And while you're here, you can have some fun in our cave.
Yeah,
make it a little nice for them. I don't know what amenities they would want to make it a vacation. Padded hanging things or something. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
Great.
A little pole up there, you know.
Nice padded things to hang on, stuff
There
like
you
that.
go.
You know? Nice catchers for the guano at the bottom there.
There you
Something
go.
fancy, you know.
We can always put the guano to use too. That's a good fertilizer.
It's a very valuable commodity, guano. I know there's probably some nations in South America and Africa that's a cash crop for them.
It is.
Things like that.
It is.
But yeah, I'm joking about the motel, obviously. But but in essence, if you think of that place like that in human terms, you can kind of understand its role a little bit better, and that's why I say jokes about it's the pilot flying, because in essence that's what it is. If you're on the road and you hit those places to fuel up and rest and get a drink or whatever, they're doing the same thing. They're come to Bitter Lake. They'll
That's
stay
right.
a day or so and get water, fed, shelter for the evening, and then when they're ready, they
Fly on to wherever
head
they're
on
going.
to their, whether it's continuing north or continuing south, depending on the time of the year,
Right.
to where they go. It's a fun, amazing little dance that
Yep.
you get to watch, and we could do a plug here to be a friend if you're interested in wanting to experience more of this and see parts of the refuge that generally the
There we
public
go.
isn't always have access to. Volunteering by becoming a friend like these two gentlemen is kind of a way to do it. The Friends of Bitter Lake, these are all volunteers. These two gentlemen are amongst them. And are you still in charge, or did they pass the baton to?
I passed that along.
Yeah, I
last
knew you were
year.
president for a little bit there, but
Yeah.
but
No, I'm now. I guess you might call special events.
he's a
Such as
gap in the
Dragonfly.
line, fill in, and let's
Yeah.
get him in
There you
there.
go.
Yeah,
He's-
such as Dragonfly and Cranes and Cocoa
Yeah.
and our spring cleanup and things like that.
And those are kind of the visible part of Friends of Bitter Lake. Like
Right.
those, the friends help and organize and facilitate like the Dragonfly Festival. Obviously, the paid staff is there functioning and doing their and very much a part of the actual festival. But as far as planning, organizing, and all that, it's Friends of Bitter Lake. But on top of that, it's the labor force side too. So when there's a service project like these bird blinds we speak of, and or there's a trail that needs to be
cleaned up or resurfaced. Or,
yeah. Then the friends are the ones out there doing these service projects. So if you like gardening, digging in the dirt a little bit, having that kind of fun stuff, and
I got dirty nails.
there you go. And there's only so much havoc you can create in your own yards.
That's right. That's right.
And come out, and we've got plenty of acres for you to kind of get involved in. Now, obviously, everything's supervised with the
staff.
Yeah, the biologists, the environment experts, and to making sure that the projects are being done are ones that kind of jive with being eco-friendly and all of that, but at the same time serve the function of which they're trying to do with that.
And we
project.
do have a new biologist.
Yes.
He just started on the 21st.
Okay.
Yeah, the longest day.
So like yesterday or day
Yeah,
before, which was the 23rd.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday, the longest day.
Good deal.
So he had his longest day. But
Where's our biologist coming from, just out of curiosity?
I have not met him yet, so
I didn't
I'm
know
not
if
sure where.
If this was a culture shock, our weather and everything, or is this
Probably.
or this something?
It has been for our last two.
Okay, I
Well,
didn't-
the previous one. It was a shock to him, but the one before that always lived in this area.
Okay,
he had family over in Las
quite
Cruces
familiar
or
with
something,
our
so he knew.
arid, dry climate.
Yeah,
so.
but the one before, in fact, he got a promotion.
That happens sometimes.
Yes.
They do a good job. They tend to give you other jobs.
You know what they say: you rise to the level of your incompetence.
There you go.
That's a good one.
But
So we have a new one now.
oh, cool. I'm hoping
And
we'll get to
I'm-
meet him here. Maybe
I'm hoping I can get
maybe
him
next
out
time
next
or
month.
in a month
Yeah.
too. We'll get
We'll
get
see.
him. But I always like when they come from someplace very different from here, and
Yeah.
then we expose them to things like green chili is the one that always gets me, because most people embrace it. There's always one or two that if it's new to them, it's, you know what I mean? It's
Sure.
like I grew up in Maryland, so crab is our version of green chili. You know,
Yeah.
like you get people, and it's like most people, they don't mind eating crab. they don't want to go through the nonsense of picking and all that stuff.
That's the fun of it.
That's part of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the experience. They don't get that. That's a social event.
Yeah.
When we were kids, and they would literally put the paper down,
Yep.
a couple pitchers of beer at either end of the table, and they put a bushel of crab. Now, obviously, I was a kid; they didn't let me have the beer, but you know what I mean. It was, and then everyone sits around with their crackers and their knives and their vinegar or whatever they like
Crack
to dip
it
in.
open.
And you sit there and just shoot the breeze and eat crab all night. That's part of the deal.
Sounds like a good time.
It is fun. It's a lot of fun. And plus crabs are, I mean, let's face it. If you look at that, I'm not going to lie. The first person must have been awful hungry. They ate a crab. There's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because to see that going, I could eat that. I mean,
Yeah.
let's face it. I mean, you had to be pretty hungry to see that. But I'm glad they did because it's a delicacy. I love it. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's kind of, I love when they have that green chili in there and they kind of either, and I love when they when they get it and they eat it and they're like, oh my God, this is so much different. Or when we talk about Mexican food and they're all Tex-Mex and we're like that's
not our.
That's a different.
Yeah, that's fancy Taco Bell, dude. This is what we're talking about. This is with the green. This is authentic New Mexican, which is much more closer to authentic Mexican food.
That's right.
Than Tex-Mex.
A lot of our New Mexico type Mexican food comes from the Native Americans.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Apache, Navajo, Pueblo.
But, and you think about it, these are people that lived off the land. So
That's
what's
right.
on the land is what you eat.
That's
and
right.
So, we have the chili. So we were able to infuse that, which I'm sure the natives were very much at cultivating, and they probably taught us how to do it. And then,
They did. They did.
And now we take that and we incorporate the influence of Mexico into that, and that's how we get our foods and things.
That's right.
It's all that incorporate, but it all starts with what's on the land.
Right.
Right.
You ever wonder why you go to Grand Canyon and they got prickly pear everything out there? Because there's a bunch of them out there. So, by the way, it's pretty
Boy,
tasty.
are
If you ever have like prickly pear jam, or I had a chocolate with prickly pear and it was pretty tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you ever go to that area, go pick some up. It's pretty good. But yeah. So anyway, I got off track.
I even got a recipe to do prickly pear jam.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, that's where I'm not. I mean, I try if I'm, but I'm that guy that I'll buy it because I'm like, you know what? There's no way I can do a better job than that guy. I'll just take what that person did.
That's why I haven't made it. But, coming up, Farmers Market.
Yes, here in July.
Yes.
Is Bitter Lake going to have a booth out there?
We're
too?
going to have,
Good.
actually, it's going to be a combination booth.
Okay.
American Legion, Bitter Lake, and Alzheimer's.
Oh, good deal.
I'm
Which
gonna
means
have all
Don's going
three
to be
of them.
there at all three because these are because Don's
7 to 11 every Saturday morning.
so he can help you with all three of those out there. So
Yep.
I know American Legion a lot of times they'll have baked goods and things out at the booth. So if you want to pick that up and help out,
We will.
Bitter Lake, I'm sure you can come and learn about different events and things. Sign up to be a friend of Bitter Lake and
I'll have tickets for the door prize.
okay for this year's Dragonfly
For this
Fest?
prize, yeah, Dragonfly.
What is the prize this year?
Oh gosh, I've got all kinds of prizes.
Okay, is there a big one or a?
We got a big quilt.
And that's kind of usually the
Susie Flint
big
always made these.
You have a
Well,
great lady
she's fantastic. She has moved over to Los Lunas, but she's still got a quilt and a wall hanging.
And we got the United States Postal Service, so you can get
Well,
it.
they're here.
Oh, good. Okay.
They're already here. And actually, Susie's going to be back. She runs our kitchen for the staff during the Dragonfly.
Okay.
So she's going to do that again.
Well, good, because I imagine that's a very important part.
It is. It's a major part.
Because if you've got that many volunteers having to be out at dark 30, you better feed them.
That's right. You got it.
I know I need to be.
Yeah, I get it. That's. I'm telling you, half the life is feed people, man. You show up with a basket of burritos, you could take on the world.
That's right. You got it. You got
exactly
it. So they'll be there.
Good.
The tickets. Now we're besides the quilts, we've got a duck print. It's not a print. We found out that those duck paintings in the nature store are actually paintings.
Okay.
They're originals.
Oh, wow.
So they could be worth a heck of a lot more than what we have been advertising.
You might been valuing these things on accidentally.
They could be several $100s.
Well, that could be y'all's as far as Bitter Lake. Friends of Bitter Lake's mistake might be your fortune there.
That's right.
True.
And they are still on sale.
Okay.
If they're still there by the time.
Hurry up before they get on eBay and find out the real value of these
That's
things.
right. If they're still there by that time, we will put those out on the drawings.
Quick story, it's all
okay.
But if for folks who've been listening into the show the last couple of weeks, one of our sales reps from Artesia, like a week ago, brought in a Braille Playboy magazine from 1999.
Oh my gosh!
And it's actually part 1 of 4. It's just the articles, obviously, because it's Braille. But it was literally a Braille Playboy from July of 1999. But it was one, and it's this big brown, it's that big Braille paper. It's pretty cool little nugget of, weird history there. But it was sitting here for weeks. And then Tuesday, I was back in Artesia, and the sales rep goes, "Hey, is that Playboy still laying around at the office out there?" I said, yeah, it's still there. Why? She goes, "Oh, I just found out it's worth $400. I want it back."
Oh my goodness!
No.
Yeah, so I said, "No problem." So when you said the painting story, I'm thinking, yeah, Joe, be careful. Go get it now before they figure out these things worth more money.
That's right. Yeah.
But that Playboy reminded me of that same story there, so I had to share.
They used to have an advertisement for a hamburger place out in California. You better buy these before they find out what they're worth. You know what that is? In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, that's In-N-Out, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
that was their advertisement thing for a while.
See, I'm East Coast raised, so I'm from the Five Guys School of Burgers.
Five Guys. Okay.
No White Castles.
Well, you know what? There's always a soft spot for White Castle.
Yeah.
But as far as, the In-N-Out Five Guys, I don't know, unofficial East Coast, West Coast, whatever, I'm Team Five Guys.
That's what you grew up with.
That's they grew up
more or
because they weren't there.
Yeah.
They actually got big in the DC because they started in the DC area. Actually, Five Guys did. The first one was there right in DC, but so it blew up after I left the area, but it blew up quick, and so I tried it. I actually lived here by the time I tried my first Five Guys, and once I had it,
they were good.
Yeah, I was like, oh dang, this is. And then I got I made the mistake the first time of ordering a large fry.
Uh-oh.
Which, pro tip, never order the large fry at Five Guys unless you're glutton for punishment. Because they literally take those brown paper sandwich bags and fill it with fries. They put a cup in there. Why, I don't know. But there is a cup to hold the fry. But there's like 6 fries in there, and the rest of the bag is just fry. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
And the small fries, same thing, just a little less fries in that same bag. Not much less, but a little less. So get the small. You will share it with at least 2 to 3 other people at the table. But it's delicious. And they always tell you where the fries come from. If you ever notice, when you ever go to a Five Guys, you'll go in and they'll say, today's potatoes came from so-and-so, Idaho. And they'll tell you exactly where they come from. It's pretty.
Wow.
It's pretty. That's my thing. But I've had In-N-Out, and I'll never kick it out of the bed. It's a delicious burger as well. But Team Five Guy.
Okay.
All right, back to Bitter Lake. I don't know how I got sidetracked there, but yeah. So beginning the first farmers market here, you can start getting tickets for the quilt. Which I think that's where we got off the rails, was at the quilt.
Plus, we got a bunch of gift cards.
Okay.
As well.
Good deal.
Some
for the store and things and like that.
Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff out there. So.
Oh, by the way, if maybe you don't have a couple hours to spend to kind of walk the property and see some of the trails and things, but if you're looking for like birthday gifts or Christmas gifts or
nature store
gifts for yourself, there's no rule saying you have to give it to people. You can keep it. They have an amazing nature store there that's got all kinds of great gifts. So if you've got people that love reading or love, that photos, all that kind of stuff you'll find there, but T-shirts and hats, and it's got so if you've got like the person that likes to do research and that kind of thing, it's going to be plenty of gifts for that person. But if you love folks that like their T-shirts and hats and love even like the kids' toys and things like that, there's plenty of fun stuff like that your younger group will like too. Yeah. But yeah, it's a great, and by you shopping in there, you're supporting, because all the proceeds from that go back into the projects and everything that's part of Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge. So by you coming out and buying the T-shirts and the books and all that, you're supporting that next bird blind they're going to build, or
That's right.
or next conservation project that needs to be taken care of out there.
We don't have any paid employees at the nature store.
Yes,
We're
it's
all volunteers. But the space was donated to nature store by the Refuge.
Nice,
because that's the Refuge building. You know.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's their property.
Right, but they donated that space to us specifically. So everything that we make goes right into the funds to help out on the.
So it keeps
Refuge.
that overhead low and all that kind of stuff, which is what you want in a nonprofit, because you want to get as much of that to the actual goal of what you're trying to raise money for. And so, but if you do have a little bit more time, go wander around and walk out. It is.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it's. We always joke about the Oasis. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. You can literally drive a couple miles outside of town and be in an entirely different world. And to be honest, that's what makes New Mexico awesome. Yep. That's something. I grew up, like I said, Maryland, East Coast, green. Stacking up when I came out here, military brought me out. And I remember the first time I was coming on the plane and I see nothing but brown, and I'm like, oh, Lord, what did I get into? But now I've been here since New Mexico since '96, and now I can't imagine living. Like, I wouldn't want to live back east if even if someone literally paid me a bunch of money. I'd be like, no. I mean, yeah, I love family. I mean, that side, but the hustle and bustle, the way of life, and just the things you see and do out here. I mean, I never got to experience things back east that I got to experience. Like the first time I saw a huge moon was out here in New Mexico. You never see that back east.
Yeah.
I'm like I see movies and they have a big moon, and I'm like, what is that? Some Hollywood trick or something? That's garbage, a cartoon. Nope. And then I get out here, I'm like, holy cow, the moon actually gets that big sometimes, And that was, and just and obviously the fact that you could literally go an hour in one direction and be in an entirely different environment. That you go an hour west and you're in these mountains and pine trees. You go, a couple of minutes up the road, you're at this oasis, and then you go a couple hours north, you're back into these other different mountains. It's just, get that back east, and you can't. And so we have a real treasure here. And so
we do.
People that have born and raised and grew up here, come appreciate what you got, because you don't realize how special it is till you don't have it anymore. I would say people in D.C. area, they are guilty of the same thing, because I grew up there. And I was one of the ones that loved going to the museums and the malls and the monuments and all. Love it. It's every American should go do it. It's amazing. But people back in D.C., I mean, Air Force One flew over my house every day. And you kind of, it gets, you know what I mean? It's just, to most Americans, that's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What a crazy thing it just happened. To us, it's like, it happens about 3 times a day. You know what I mean? It's just, that's life. And you can't see the forest from the trees sometimes. And that's kind of what happens to us when we do that. So don't let that happen to you. Come out to Bitter Lake. Come see this amazing, beautiful natural phenomena in its natural habitat. It's doing what it's doing. It's kind of, I mean, the beauty of, and this is where I learned this lesson a little hard in Carlsbad. Nature does what it wants, and nature goes, and you can maybe coax it, you can suggest it do certain things, but it's going to do what it wants. And,
that's right.
And I think that's part of the awesomeness that is going out there, where you go out and you're seeing the animals, but then you see something like that was weird, and it's like, well, that's nature. That's what happens. And I learned the lesson in Carlsbad when I went to go out to see the bats leave for the night to go hunting.
Oh, yes.
And I picked a night where I guess they didn't feel like going out so much. It's like, all right, here it comes, and there's like 3 bats, and I'm like, all right, that was it. I think I kind of didn't see them because it's kind of dark and it's hard to see them coming out unless there's a bunch of them. And it was just a night that, I don't know if they just had a good hunting night the night before and they were full, or I don't know, or if it was the weather or what. But I would say maybe less than 10% went out hunting that night. But what are you gonna do? That's
nature.
I'm sure if I go the next night, everybody, every bat in the whole place comes pouring out of there. It's
all
just
6 million of them.
Yeah. But that's what is cool to me, because you don't know, and you don't, and you can't control that. You just gotta sit and enjoy the ride, and if you take it from that perspective, I think you're gonna find it much more fascinating, much cooler, and be much more appreciative of those little things. Like, come out to Dragonfly Festival in the fall here, or late summer. Sign up for as many. They have the early bird tour, which that fills up very quick. So you want to sign up for that one too. They have the Dragonfly tour, which focuses on the dragonflies. But then you have kind of an overall nature tour too, right? Where you get to see not just the dragonflies, but other aspects of the refuge and the plant life. And
if you don't feel like walking around, always take one of those tours.
Absolutely.
And then walk around.
Because then you can go and see all the highlights, and then walk out to the places you want to kind of spend a little more time and all that.
Pick and choose.
Good news is every single one of these tours free of charge.
Right.
Bad news is they're popular, and you got to sign up early, or you're going to not get a tour.
Right. The only thing that's going to cost you is, and bear with me on this, because we're working on having the Boy Scouts come out and do their hot dog thing again.
Oh, good. So you can come out and buy some food and support the Scouts.
Yeah.
Great.
We're going to have something like that.
Good.
And we think the Scouts are going to do it.
Well, and I think that people will be very appreciative of that, because walking around stuff works up an appetite. And you're like, dang, I'm kind of hungry here.
But that's the only thing it's going to cost you.
Good. And then, of course, if you do want to buy things at the store, or if you want to get a raffle ticket for the quilt, that's going to cost money. But again, there will be some vendors in a big tent. Okay, so if you want to buy some artifacts or whatever
artwork and artifacts from the area. So.
Oh, cool! And that's the only way you can get them, by the way.
Yes.
Don't go. Well, first off, they usually don't let you out on your own into some of those areas to go. But please, like we said, it's an ecosystem, and we want humans touch as very little as we possibly can, and that's why whenever there is. But that being said, come be a friend.
That's right.
Because now you can go and see some of these parts that the public doesn't get to. But it's for a reason. It's because you got to remember, goal number one is to preserve the wildlife and vegetation of that area. That is priority number one. Everything else is secondary. And if you remember that then you'll understand why the rules are that way. Yes, we want this here for all of people and everybody to enjoy. But to keep it that way, we've got to keep as many people that aren't necessary to the process out of it to do that. So if you want to go camp and doing all that kind of stuff, that's why Bottomless Lakes is here to do that. This is legitimately here to come and enjoy nature. It's come to see animals in their natural, not even past the zoo's a great thing too. Don't get me wrong and all that, but there's going to be things out at Bitter Lake that you'll never see at a zoo.
That's right.
You will never see at a zoo. These are wild animals. These are animals that aren't on a feeding schedule that's created by a human. You know what I mean? Not directly.
And you should remember that if you're going to go out there and walk around.
Exactly. These animals and wildlife are there living their natural habitat schedule. So,
that's right.
And it isn't on your time. So, if they're not as exciting that night, it's because they're living their life. They're not there to entertain you.
That's right. That's right. Do remember that if you do walk around out there during the summer like this, there are snakes.
Yes.
So
snakes are going to be out because they're cold-blooded animals, and they go to where it's warm. And so that they're going to be out and about during the day more often, in the warmer temperatures.
Right.
So be mindful of that.
Right.
So
they do most of their hunting for food in the early evenings and early mornings.
Okay. But again, when all the animals are out and when there's plenty of sources of food.
Looking for food.
Because the mice and rats and various other varmints that they're going after, they're hunting at those times. And so he's hunting them.
But that doesn't mean but the snakes will be out during the heat of the day even.
Yeah, they're just out sunning on the rocks and trying to keep body temperature and things like that. That's their nature.
They'll crawl under a tree for a while and then
come out. And to be honest, they won't mess with you unless you mess with them.
That's right. Stay out of their way and they're not going to bother you.
If you come by one and say it's a rattler and they start rattling the tail and raising their head and
back off.
they're just telling you, go away. I'm not going to mess with you, but go away or I will mess with you.
Yeah.
He's warning you.
Yeah.
Take the
I'm going
warning.
to protect myself.
You see the rattler and everything. He's telling you, you keep coming at me. It's going to be a bad day for you.
Yeah.
Take that advice.
Right.
Stay away. And then, of course, if there's a lot of people in there, report, say, hey, there's a
Rattler out
let
there.
the proper people know so we can make sure someone doesn't get hurt or something
Right.
like that. But
We move those out to a little farther distance.
and just remember, you're in their house.
That's right.
This is their house, their rules. You live by their rules. You come into their house, you be polite. Just like anybody, someone comes in your house, you expect that same thing.
Right.
So please be a good steward of that land, and that's why it's not Bottomless Lake, because there is a time and a place for fun and camping and boating, and that's amazing. We're very fortunate to have that, and we should utilize it. However, Bitter Lake is not that place. Bitter Lake is a place for us to come and enjoy the outdoors, enjoy our wildlife, and to learn about these animals. And I'm sure there's so much information that our biologists and things over the years have garnered just by studying what's going on out at Bitter Lake with the plant life, with the animal life. And so we go out there, and the friends are there to preserve that, but we are also learning it, so the next generation knows what. And obviously what the climate's impact and everything that's going on there. They're using Bitter Lake as a study case to see, well, how's it impacting? What's going on? What do we need to do to countermeasure this kind of stuff? This is at the end of the day, that's the purpose of this, and the ancillary secondaries. We, the public, to come and be amongst it and see it.
We can observe it. Yes,
but you just got to remember, it's not your home. We're the visitors, and treat it as such.
Very true.
Treat it as the Boy Scouts have a saying that when they go out, always leave a place better than you found it. Please use that mindset when you go out to Bitter Lake.
we do have out there a designated area for the Boy Scout, Cub Scout groups.
Good.
Period. That's just for them.
Oh, for them to do their camping or scouting.
They can do their
activities
camping
and
out
things.
there. So, but that's the only camping that's allowed out there at all.
And by the way, all those scouts are trained in, like when they go camping, it's that they're learning how
To preserve it.
to lay low impact camping things
Right.
that
Right.
leave
That's
a smaller impact on.
Leave a smaller footprint.
Yes, smaller footprint, and that goes from how they.
That's
eat
exactly
to
why
how they
we set
sleep.
this aside for them, so that they
Yeah.
can learn that.
Yeah, I remember in my time in Scouts, and again, being from Maryland, I got the chance to go to Philmont
Ooh.
here, which is a
Yeah.
big deal in Scouts. It's a national, that camp up in northern New Mexico, it's the largest, biggest Scout reservation in the country. That
That's right.
is the Scout
It is.
destination. They have other high adventure bases, but the king of the Mount Rushmore there is Philmont Scout Ranch.
Right.
It is
Yeah.
the best. And I went there as a kid, and that's where we exercised and learned a lot of that. Everything I owned was in a backpack. We had no open fires. It was little one burner stoves. All of our food and stuff, none of that stayed behind. If you couldn't burn or get rid of altogether, then we pack it out with us.
Right.
Bear bags, everything that has a smell. By the way, when you go low impact camping, you don't bring things like toothpaste and deodorant. Just telling you, because
they smell that.
it smells the bears. But so in essence, there's no point if you're going to be in the woods for a week. There's no point you using deodorant when all you're going to do is attract bears.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is all it's going to do. So you don't do those kind of, but you learn all that. But even like liquids, and we as low impact camping, we learned all that in Scouts. So that's why they're the ones that get to go out there and do it, because they teach and practice the right way to camp in those kind, to make that real impact. Now this isn't glamping and all the stuff you guys are used to, going out to the lake with your coolers upon coolers, and this is you're living in a
Pack it in,
a tent
pack
or
it out.
tent-like tent, a bag that's a sleep bag. It's very minimal. You probably only have 3, depending how long you're gone, just a couple of changes of clothes, enough to keep you dry and warm. But yeah, it's not a beauty contest. It's not you're going to smell, you're going to look dirty, and but
It's all right.
it's all right. And you camp, and then by the time you go to some of these camps, you can't even tell someone's been there. That's the way it because, and that's how it's.
It's the
That's how it's
idea.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
Exactly. But anyway, I got on a rant there. We're running out of time here, but if anybody wants learn more about becoming a friend or anything else, is the website probably the best resource, or,
That would
or
be a
Facebook?
good-
And that's friendsofbitterlake.org, if I remember right.
Correct.
Is the website. If you go to friendsofbitterlake.org, there. By the way, that's going to be the website you can reserve your different tours for the Dragonfly Festival. It'll be all through there direct. So bookmark that website and check back with it often. I know Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge also has a Facebook page that you can like and follow and ask questions on as well too. Is there a number out at the store if anybody has any questions during business hours there? Or?
Our old number is active again.
Okay.
We had some phone problems.
I think that's what he was digging up there. Was that number?
I was trying to find that number in there.
By the way, that's a nice wallet you got there. It looks very very durable.
That's why I got it. I keep busting up other wallets.
Yeah.
I
think I'd have a bruise about that size in my back pocket, though, the way I keep sitting down, though, on that thing.
Okay, Bitter Lake. Now we got it. Hang on, there it is. We've got two numbers now that you could use. One of them is 575-625 401. I'm sorry, 625-4009.
Okay.
Now that should get you the front desk.
Okay.
If that one doesn't, try 575-244-6256.
Okay.
And that one of those will get you into the front desk.
Okay.
The 4009 is the one they were having problems with. I think they've got it resolved. It seems to be working good.
Okay.
But the other one is now a backup for that.
Okay. And of course, like you said, hours, the gates open at dawn and close at dusk. If I remember right. So please leave before then. Though, if you get stuck in, there is someone that can let you out. There's a night patrol person that can get you.
Well,
but
on your way out, if you approach the gate slowly, it will let you out.
Okay, so there is a escape
an automatic
there if you do it. But you're not going to get in after.
Yeah,
that,
no, it's exit only.
All right, so because I'm sure a time or two someone's back out there and they get wrapped up in the nature and forget that it's dang, it's 8 o'clock.
It's dark. What am I doing here?
It happens.
Yeah.
But folks, get ready with. Please make plans to attend the Dragonfly Festival here in September. We didn't get a chance to talk so much about cranes and cocoa. We'll talk about that more next time. But that'll be right on the heels of Dragonfly Festival, Thanksgiving time.
Thanksgiving time. So.
But this time of year, if you want to come out and see the most activity at the lake, come early mornings. Get out there about 6:30 in the morning. You can kind of get a good chance of seeing the animals getting their food on and getting life together, living their lives here in the morning before they hunker down in the harder part of the day here. So.
Yeah.
And then of course, if you can't do mornings, maybe do a dusk time. Come around 7 o'clock or so. And start seeing some of the nocturnal animals and things.
It's light until about 8 o'clock now.
Yeah, it is pretty late.
Somewhere around there. So
yeah, you get out there about 7 or so. You can maybe have a little snack or something, and walk around and see things.
Don't throw your trash away.
Just what you bring in, you take out with you.
Yeah, that's right. Pack it in, pack it out,
or more, or bring some you see with you on the way out.
That's right.
So. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next month. Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Anytime. All right. It is